I mean, can you imagine that the Vice President of India is just lapata? He's just gone missing. For over 30 days now, the country does not know anything about him. This can only happen in a country like North Korea. It cannot happen in a democracy like India. All democratic norms and proprieties are falling apart in our country. The Election Commission is becoming more and more brazen, isn't it? The press conference of the chief election commissioner was a political press conference. It was not the press conference of a former IAS officer or somebody who runs an institution like the Election Commission. Praying to God that NDA does not win the Bihar election, and that too by stealth, by stealing votes. Because if they do that, then the only option left to the people is to come out in the streets and hold peaceful protests. There is no other way. Could you ever imagine a situation where Jaishankar and Doval will not get along? That other people in the government will not get along with each other? What does it show? It shows the declining power of Prime Minister Modi. He is not in control as he used to be. His writ does not run like it used to run before. And people are seeing the writing on the wall that he is on his way out. And so therefore, why should they cross the line or go beyond what is permissible?
You are saying, Mr. Sinha, that there is a certain level of defiance now which is setting in within the ministers, within the bureaucracy, and which is why these kind of strange developments are happening. And earlier Modi was in command, he was in the driver's seat, so this was all hidden, nobody knew about it. But all that now is playing up on the forefront.
Absolutely.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. The vote theft campaign by Rahul Gandhi, and especially after the expose which he made on 7th August, has gained traction. And as the days are passing by, a huge crowd is swelling each day. And it seems that the campaign looks credible to the people. People feel that their votes have been stolen. But what will really happen to the Bihar elections? And amidst this Bihar elections, lots of strange things are happening. It seems that there are clear signs of the Modi government being nervous. Now, say, for example, all of a sudden, Jagdeep Dhankar, the former vice president, resigned. After that, we saw that towards the fag end of the monsoon session, the government got in the 130th Constitution Amendment Bill, which has no logic except that the intention is very clear to topple the opposition ruled state chief ministers. And for namesake, they have also added the prime minister for the removal as what the salient features of the bill are. So we'll try and talk about this entire scenario, the way the things are unfolding, and not to forget that there is a huge chatter on the social media about how there is a tiff between S. Jaishankar and Mr. Ajit Doval. Then there is a clash between the two corporate-backed think tanks. One is the ORF, that is the Observer Research Foundation, which is backed by the Ambanis, and CRF, that is the Chintan Research Foundation, which is backed by the Adani. So what's really happening in the political corridors? How does one make out? And are signs for Modi's exit becoming clearer and clearer as the time is passing by? Joining me this evening is veteran politician and former External Affairs Minister, Mr. Yashwant Sinha, joins us this evening. Mr. Sinha, thank you so much for joining, and always a pleasure having you on the program. And my first question to you, sir, is that the manner in which the vote theft campaign is evolving, and all the expose which has been done by Rahul Gandhi, Election Commission is not ready to admit any of the flaws. In fact, they have become more and more brazen. And what I was reading this morning, that they have also agreed not to listen to the Supreme Court, because the BLAs and the BLOs are saying that we need a written order to allow the Aadhaar card to be accepted. So that written order obviously has to come from the Election Commission. And if, despite the Supreme Court orders, if the Election Commission has not given a written order to the BLOs, then what happens? The deadlock and the stalemate continues. And what are we to assume then?
Neelu ji, we are passing through a very critical phase in the history of democracy in this country. Those in power are determined to stay in power by hook or by crook. Now, if they feel threatened from any quarter, then the only instrument that they have in their hand is to suppress that voice, that person. And you refer to the former Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar. This is what has happened to him. I mean, can you imagine that the Vice President of India is just lapata? He's just gone missing. For over 30 days now, the country does not know anything about him. This can only happen in a country like North Korea. It cannot happen in a democracy like India. But this is happening. So all democratic norms and proprieties are falling apart in our country. And as I said, those who are in power are determined to be in power. They have their allies. Let's not minimize the threat, because the way the Election Commission has behaved throughout this period, when the vote chori or stealth stealing of votes charge has been leveled against them by Rahul Gandhi and other leaders in the opposition, and the Bihar movement has started, the Election Commission is becoming more and more brazen, isn't it? The press conference of the chief election commissioner was a political press conference. It was not the press conference of a former IAS officer or somebody who runs an institution like the Election Commission. So, the whole arrangement here is that you get your nominees to head every institution of democracy in this country, and then through them misuse that institution to ensure that you remain in power forever. What Rahul Gandhi is doing is that for the first time in 11 years, he has picked up an issue and he has gone to the ground in Bihar, and at the ground level, he started a movement. And the way things are turning out, the way he is being welcomed by the people of Bihar, it is quite clear that he is appealing to the people of Bihar. They are seeing that things are not right, and they want to set right these things. And they see a hope in Rahul Gandhi, in Tejasvi Yadav, that they'll be able to set it right, at least in Bihar, and the elections will not be stolen as they have been stolen in the past.
But what is the possibility you see? Now, the people have come out on the street and obviously they are opposing. There is a dominant feeling that the votes have been stolen. But given the brazenness of the Election Commission, of the Modi government, Anurag Thakur coming out and saying and all sorts of things, nothing is applied on the ruling side, but everything is applied on the opposition. Or what does it go to show? That they will obviously win Bihar elections? Or you see that in all likelihood, it's going to be the India Alliance which is going to form the government?
I am praying to God that NDA does not win, the Bihar election, and that too by stealth, by stealing votes. Because if they do that, then the only option left to the people is to come out in the streets and hold peaceful protests. There is no other way. Because if you are controlling every organ of government, every institution of democracy in the government, and misusing them and winning elections, then what is the alternative which is available to the people to come out on the streets and protest against this? So I hope they will not be able to win the Bihar elections. People will rise. Bihar has been a land of revolutions, and Bihar has taught lessons to bigger autocrats than Modi ji and Shah ji. And this time also, the people will wake up. It's a difficult battle, I must admit, because in every assembly constituency, 20,000 or more votes are being deleted, votes which will not have gone to the BJP, and they are being deleted. So 20,000 is a big number, isn't it? For any uh, assembly constituents, it's a big number. This is the whole game plan, that with the help of the election
But
commission,
many people, Mr.
they
Sinha, they are
will.
saying that you're talking about these 20 and 25,000 votes per constituency. Even I have interviewed experts who've said that this is the game plan, what you're pointing out, to delete 25,000 votes per Vidhan Sabha seat. And if that is already done, because the political parties are trying hard, but with the little time which is left, today is already 25th of August, they have another 6 days before the final electoral roll is published on 1st of September. So obviously the political parties do not have the wherewithal, and neither do they have the time which is sufficient. So which means that the stealth will happen, or the vote chori will happen, and then what ultimately is it going to manifest into?
This is a very serious point that you have raised. And my own take on this is that if Modi Shah, along with the election commission, are determined to create a situation where they will delete those votes, which would not have gone to them, would have gone to the opposition party candidate, and win the election, then it will create a very serious situation in the country, not only in Bihar. It will create a very serious situation in the country, and people will be left with no option except to hit the streets. And would we want our democracy to collapse into a chaos of that kind? It's going to be a huge chaos. Nothing will work, and they will remain in government in Delhi or wherever, but the writ will not run. You mentioned by way of introduction that there are rumors that various agencies of government and people in high positions are not seeing eye to eye with each other. Why is that situation arisen? Could you ever imagine a situation where Jaishankar and Doval will not get along? That other people in the government will not get along with each other? What does it show? It shows the declining power of Prime Minister Modi. He is not in control as he used to be. His writ does not run like it used to run before. And people are seeing the writing on the wall that he is on his way out. And so, therefore, why should they cross the line or go beyond what is permissible?
You are saying, Mr. Sinha, that there is a certain level of defiance now which is setting in within the ministers, within the bureaucracy, and which is why these kind of strange developments are happening. And earlier, Modi was in command, he was in the driver's seat, so this was all hidden, nobody knew about it. But all that now is playing up on the forefront.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is exactly what I am saying. And, when such a situation comes and the person who has lost, the prime minister who has lost popular support, tries to stick to his post by, as I said, by hook or by crook, then the people rise. This is a tailor-made situation for people hitting the streets. And when the people hit the streets, chaos follows, democracy is diminished, and anything can happen.
But when people hit the streets, are we going to see a similar scenario? What we saw in Bangladesh or Sri Lanka? The people came, they entered inside the palaces, overthrew the things. Are we going to see a similar kind of a scenario? Or do we have enough safety levers to control that kind of a situation?
Well, I hope the leaders who will be leading these people who will hit the streets will show circumspection, will show maturity, and will not allow those things to happen in India, which we have witnessed in Bangladesh or in Sri Lanka. That there will be chaos, but it will be a controlled chaos.
A controlled chaos, you're saying. But coming back to Prime Minister Modi, what is the kind of situation which you think Prime Minister Modi is going through? Now his birthday is around the corner. We already had the RSS chief talking about the fact that if you've crossed 75 years, then it's time for you to retire. And all these things are precipitated around his birthday. So is the atmosphere ripe for RSS to tell Modi that please now it's time for you to back off and let's bring in a new leader?
They already have. You see, BJP and NDA have a majority in parliament, in Lok Sabha. So there is no threat to the government as far as numbers are concerned, isn't it? The only point is whether Prime Minister Modi will give up his post or not. Now, RSS is saying that you apply the same rule to yourself that you apply to others. I know that personally because I had turned 75 and I decided that I will not contest elections. And I did not contest the 2014 election because this unwritten rule was in the air that those above 75 are not welcome. And those above 75 who did contest Lok Sabha election and got into parliament suffered a very tragic fate because they were part of the government but not part of the government. They had no role to play in parliament. So what I'm saying is this now applies to Mr. Modi. He's turning 75. The rule should apply to him. RSS has already indicated that this rule should be followed. And if Modi does not follow that rule, then again he's an RSS. He and RSS will be at loggerheads, and that's not good for the BJP or the NDA.
No, but despite all these pinpointings and despite all these accusations which are being made against the government, the election commission, do you see any change in Modi? Because when I was listening to Prime Minister Modi when he was in Gaya just day before yesterday or 2 days before, he again was talking about this Ghuspetia, infiltrators, and the PMCM bill. So his arrogance, his high-handedness doesn't seem to change at all. So do you think that he's going to change? He's going to step down? What is your sense, Mr. Sinha, on this?
I will agree with you that it's not easy for him to step down. And it's not easy for him to step down because he realizes he must be in the heart of his hearts, be aware of the fact that he has done so many wrong things that they'll come visiting him after he is no more the Prime Minister of India. So his plan of action will be to go from one post of immunity to another post of immunity. Anything is possible in this country.
So
Dhankar has shown the way.
So you are
Dhankar has
saying
shown the way.
no. So you are saying that Prime Minister Modi is seeking another post of immunity so that there is no harm to him. So that post is only the post of the president. So is he looking at that?
He could be looking at that. I'll not be surprised at all if one day, like Dhankar, we hear that Draupadi Murmu has resigned on health grounds and the post of president has become vacant and elections will be held and Modi will become the president of India. I'll not rule it out at all.
No, but I'm just imagining that if at all this scenario turns out to be true, we do not know as of now. But what is happening to BJP as a party within internally? Because there are strong rumblings. I've spoken to BJP leaders on the ground, off the record. They are very, very scared, and they say that we do not know what's going to happen to the party. Earlier, they never used to speak to the media, but now they have started speaking to the media people off the record, and they say that Neeluji, is very difficult to estimate as of now as to what's going to happen. So, do you see the possibility of BJP getting divided into two parts, like what happened to Congress years back?
I don't rule out any such possibility. Do you remember when the last meeting of the national executive of the BJP was held? I
You're talking
remember
about
when I was in the BJP, we used to have meetings of the national executive.
yes.
Even when we were in government, every 3 months. That is the rule, that every 3 months the national executive of the BJP will meet. They will not only meet, but they'll also pass resolutions. Now, nothing happens. There is no meeting of the national executive. They can't elect their own president. The BJP organization is in a mess. It's a complete mess organizationally. BJP is in a mess, and people in the BJP who are still important in government or in organization would surely be aware of this. That it's not a democratic party at all. There is no internal democracy in the BJP because the meetings are not taking place where people would have been able to raise their voice. It's a party which has gone to the dogs, and I am very sorry about it because it was such a disciplined party. It was such a forward-looking party at one time under Mr. Vajpayee and Mr. Advani.
But supposing if Prime Minister Modi, and then again it's speculative because we do not know as of now whether Prime Minister Modi will step down or not. But the way the maneuverings are happening at the corporate level, and we all know that uh, at some point of there is a situation where the corporates almost start governing the parties, and this is what is really happening. Whether it is the Ambanis, whether it is the Adanis, they are driving the policy at every level, whether it is the foreign policy or the domestic policy. Who do you think is on the driver's seat right now? Is it Prime Minister Modi and Shah, or is it the corporates which are driving with their vested interests along?
The corporates are, I don't know whether they're driving, but they're playing a very, very important role in the governance process of this country. I'll give you an example. No less a person than the Treasury Secretary of the US came on record to say that in the import of the Russian crude oil, there has been undue profits earned by one corporate house. He put the figure at $16 billion. Now, this is not something which has been even noticed, much less being talked about in the Indian media. But the fact is that we have imported cheaper crude oil from Russia. Our imports have gone up from less than 1% to almost 40%. But the benefit of cheaper products like petroleum, petrol, diesel, etc., have not been passed on to the people of India, to the consumers. They have just been grabbed by one corporate house. Now, naturally, the other corporate house will be very angry because if they have made enormous amounts of, or they have been allowed to make enormous amounts of undue profits, then he'll feel left out. He'll also want his, part of the pie. So He'll be angry. Doval will be angry because Jaishankar is playing a role. Jaishankar will be angry because Doval is playing a role. There is a complete chaos in the government at this time, and that is an indication of the fact that Modi has lost control. Earlier, it was not possible because he was controlling everything. Now he is not controlling everything. People are aware that he is not controlling everything. People are aware that he's become weak, and therefore they are doing whatever they want to do, or differing with, or picking up enmity with their colleagues.
But how long can such a weak prime minister continue? Because as you said, that Modi is weak. He's not in command of the things. He's going out of control. So how long can he continue like this? I mean, there will be a point of precipitation where he will have to take some decision or the other, or maybe if he doesn't take, the party or the RSS will have to take a call.
He will continue as long as Draupadi Murmu does not resign.
Okay.
Sorry, if she resigns tomorrow, then the path is clear for Mr. Modi to take over. Because as I said, it's very important for him to have a post of immunity. He can't face the challenges which will be before him if he is not the prime minister, president, or vice president.
But did you also, sir, because you've been part of the BJP, you've been a very, very senior leader, you've been on the driver's seat of all important portfolios, but looking at the way the Modi phenomena is declining or is in the process of declining, did you ever think that Modi will ever fall like a pack of cards as what is happening right now? Did you ever imagine that Modi will face a situation like
Yes,
this?
yes, I did. I
Okay.
did. And, just as I must confess to my mistake, my guilt, that just as I had thought in 2014, 2013, that Modi was our best bet for the prime minister's post, today I think that he is the biggest drag for the party. He is the biggest drag for the government. He has outlived his shelf life. And the only thing for him to do is to move on, because the country cannot afford a weak prime minister. And all this became so obvious. Our huge military success against Pakistan in that 4-day conflict was so clearly wasted on the diplomatic front. I mean, people would have forgotten we have SIR, we have the Bihar elections coming, and every day there are new issues which crop up. But it was a huge diplomatic failure. And who should take the responsibility? The prime minister. And do you think the people of the country are unaware? Do you think the people of the world are unaware that India stood completely isolated? Do you think the people of India are unaware of the fact that we are at loggerheads with the US with President Trump, on which Mr. Modi personally invested so much time and money and resources? So people are watching all this, and they feel that Modi is not effective anymore.
Right.
And the
My last,
biggest,
right.
biggest area where his policies have collapsed, he has collapsed his foreign policy.
So my last question to you now is that now I'm sure Modi is going to campaign in Bihar as well. He's already gone to Gaya and Munger and elsewhere, and now he's planning to go to other states as well. How will Modi face the people? Now that the vote theft campaign is gaining traction, people are beginning to believe that the votes have been stolen. There are people out on the street. Look at what has happened last night here in Delhi. These SSB students who were sitting there, they were lathi charged, And all this is playing out in terms of sentiments. And there is a certain message which is being conveyed to Prime Minister Modi and the current government. How will Modi face the crowd now? The election crowd, or wherever he goes? How is he going to face the people?
He will face. I mean, do you think those people who attend his meetings come there voluntarily? They are brought, they are paid, they are given water bottles, they are given food, they are given transport. And on the TV, what do we see? Huge crowds. And then some people strategically placed in front who will say Modi, Modi, or something, something. And, the impression that will go is, you look at how popular Mr. Modi is. He is not popular anymore. Those crowds will still come. You know what happened in the Bengal elections, assembly elections. They took people from Jharkhand to swell the crowds for Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah in Bengal. So they will get the crowds. The crowds will be brought, and given their water bottles and their allowances. But it will have no impact as far as the electorate are concerned. The only danger, and I'm repeating it, Neeluji, the only danger is that if genuine voters are disenfranchised, they are not allowed to vote, then there is a danger that BJP, NDA will win more seats than the opposition. And therefore, the opposition has to be very, very watchful. They have to be very alert. I'm very happy that Rahul Gandhi has hit the streets. He's making the people aware. And, ultimately, despite all the shenanigans of the election commission, and unfortunately not the kind of relief which one expected Supreme Court to give, ultimately the people will decide. And in the Bihar elections, I'm quite sure which way they'll turn.
So do you also see the possibility of BJP or NDA apparently getting wiped out because of this?
Well, I don't know whether they'll be wiped out, but win or lose is determined by who forms the government.
Right.
And if the India bloc were to form the government in Bihar, then clearly BJP will be the loser. Example, Modi lost the Lok Sabha election of 2024, didn't he? The BJP numbers came down from 303 to 240. Even now, the government is on two support systems. But because he formed the government, he pretended to be the winner.
One last question, because you spoke about the two supports. How is Naidu and Nitish? How are they, both of them? Since you said that Modi is not in control of the things, there's a lot of nervousness. How are Naidu and Nitish watching these developments? Do you think that they will withdraw?
As far as Nitish is concerned, he is not well. You know that, everybody knows that.
Yes.
And after Nitish, what will happen to JDU, one doesn't know. People tell me that JDU will be swallowed by the BJP in Bihar. JDU will cease to exist. So that is what is in store for the JDU and Mr. Nitish Kumar. As far as Chandrababu Naidu and TDP is concerned, he has to be extremely alert, extremely watchful, because it's the same fate might fall upon him. He might also be at some point of time dethroned when the BJP feels that they have enough strength to dethrone him. So they are both in danger. It's a situation where supporting the BJP, embracing them, becomes a death embrace.
Right. So we'll have to wait and watch how things unfold, but really scary. And as what you're saying, that Modi seems to be completely losing the control, and which is why there are signs of nervousness within the BJP. Thank you so much, Mr. Sinha, for joining on HW. Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.